Welcome to our weekly live stream with Wisdom Ways. I'm the communication strategist, Carly Swenson, and today the spiritual theme that we're discussing is flourishing. So if you've ever checked out our blog, it's called Flourish, and that's because flourishing is such a beautiful and enriching theme that's very exciting, but it's also very eclectic. It consists of so many things, but all of those things aren't necessarily required to flourish. You just have to know those things that work for you and be willing to sit with discomfort when that happens so that you can find things that work better and allow you to nurture yourself in a way that is more fruitful and supportive to possibility and supportive to yourself and supportive to others. And a huge part of any form of flourishing. Flourishing is sort of the goal or the end result or a state of being. So it's not necessarily an end all, but there are things that you kind of have to do to get to that point where with something like awareness, you just bring your awareness to the moment, and there, you've achieved it. And I think flourishing is one of those that can be nebulous and kind of intimidating if you don't feel like you're thriving, or if something like that has felt very distant to you. I know for me, I have some mental health issues and stuff, including depression and anxiety, and I know for a long time, the idea of flourishing felt impossible. Like, that's not like I'm just trying to make it through the day and just kind of, keep depression at bay. And when I was really willing to get into those spaces of like what wasn't working for me and why was I scared of my mental illness, that kind of stuff. And when I was willing to work through that with supportive friends, therapists, people qualified and supportive in those ways, I was able to kind of slowly untangle things that weren't effective, as well as building these little habits and just little, I call them like self-care tricks, but like just these little ways of bringing in self-care, bringing in awareness, bringing in little reminders to just care for myself and that I'm important and I deserve my own time, I deserve my own attention and love. And the more you can find interesting, small ways to nourish yourself throughout the day, throughout your week, all of those little things add up. And then eventually, as you're kind of working with self-acceptance and awareness and getting to like a sense of purpose of like your authenticity, then all of a sudden it just kind of comes together and there's this flourishing that happens. And I know last time I was here I referred to a similar thing of like a critical mass of self, where like all of a sudden all that work you're doing really just comes together and you can feel your life be more fruitful and content and happy. And part of that is that willingness to let go of things that aren't serving you while nourishing and being open to the things that do. So if you are willing to join me, we'll do a short little guided visualization. So feel free to bring your awareness back into your body. If it's more comfortable, have both feet planted on the floor and just allow yourself to sit comfortably. And I have my singing bowl. So I invite you to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths and just bring all that awareness back into yourself. And I invite you to feel the pressure of your feet against the floor. And as you do, visualize roots going down through the floor, through the earth, and into the rich soil. Take a breath and imagine that root system expanding, building thick roots and tiny hair-like wiry roots that just expand and hold you firm and safely supported by the earth. And as you feel that weight of your body against the ground, bring your awareness up your body, past your legs and your knees, all the way up to your heart center. And as you bring your awareness to your heart, I invite you to take a couple really deep breaths and just let that feeling wash over your heart as you were planted safely, firmly, protected, guided by the universe or the divine, supported by the earth. And as you focus on your heart, I want you to visualize a little bud, like a little flower bud. And it's green. And as you breathe, with each breath, you notice that it starts to open and unfurl. And how is this flower? Do you sense light radiating out of it as it begins to open? Do you feel warmth? Do you feel refreshing as you breathe and just allow it to continue to open? What color are the petals? Does it radiate any sort of color or light or sensation? As you breathe, allow that fullness to really expand to a beautiful bloom that almost feels like it could burst through your chest and just radiate into the world, that sort of beauty and love coming from a place of grounded support. Take a few more breaths. Take this time to just check in with yourself. How is your body? How are your emotions? How's your mind? No judgment, no comparison, just simply accepting and being willing to be with who you are at this moment today. And after a few more breaths, I invite you to come back to the moment. And I know we all experience our imagination or our ability to visualize differently. So in situations like that, I definitely invite you to get into your body and your mind and the sensations and do what works for you. If you're not somebody who sees a lot of things literally or can't really visualize things in detail in that way, how does it feel against like If you're somewhere and you can feel the air against your skin, you know, what sort of sensations does that bring? If you're in a location, what does that feel like on your feet as you're moving? You can also try to bring in what sort of sounds would you be hearing? Are there fragrances or scents that would be in the air? So I definitely invite you to play with your imagination as well. If you're willing to do any sort of visualizations, either alone or guided, I think that those are a nice way to take a little moment to yourself and allow your imagination to play while allowing your parasympathetic nervous system to kick in and help you relax and just kind of take care of yourself more. So that's a bit about flourishing, but thank you so much for joining us. We would love it if you would like and subscribe. If you want to tell a friend to like and subscribe, that would be great too. So thank you so much for joining us, and see you next week.